Hi, this is Kevin Donlin, and I'm here with Michael Shea, a financial advisor and a client of mine from sunny California. And we're going to talk about what happened to his business over the past few months. Michael, welcome. Thanks very much for joining me today.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. So let me set the stage here real quick before we get started. We did a project to help you and your business partner acquire CPA firms. You're trying to purchase them. So
Correct.
what were you doing before you found me and we, decided to do this project? Were you meeting them in person, or what exactly were you doing to talk to
So
these
yeah,
folks?
just a little background. I'm a financial advisor. However, the other business, I partner up with a licensed CPA. So we found that in Southern California, in my market, the Chinese market, there are most of the CPAs are near or at retirement age. And one of three things happen. They either pass away and the clients just is gone, or they literally shut their doors, which happened a lot during COVID, and just, they don't know their business has value, or they do an internal succession or external succession. They sell it to someone, one of their junior partners, or they sell it outside. Um, but before the letter, we were basically knocking on doors. We were looking up the CPA addresses on the phone book and just either cold calling them or just showing up in their office. And that's very labor intensive. And after doing that for about 6 months, I didn't get any, and I was tired
Okay.
of doing that. So, and that's when I found you, and we had this idea to maybe, hey, it's easier to send out 1,000 letters than to knock on 1,000 doors. So that's what we did.
And we didn't even need 1,000 letters. We'll talk about numbers in a second. We followed a framework that I call real marketing in a digital world to save the time and the expense and the hassle for you. It's got three parts. Part one is find out what buyers want. Part two, sell it to them in their own words. Part three, online and offline. Now let's talk about each of these real quick, and then I'll ask for your input and your feedback. So the first one is find out what buyers want. What I did was I interviewed you and your business partner, who's a licensed CPA. Do you remember that interview? We did it by phone. It took like 30, 45
I,
minutes.
I remember vividly. It was, yeah, I think it took 45 minutes. It was extremely detailed. And
Mm-hmm.
when we first started on this project, I didn't know that was your process. And I was a little skeptical because I thought, how can someone who doesn't know about the tax industry be able to write something that's very convincing? Because I know if I was able to sit down with the CPA, I could probably convince them. But how can you? But your
Right.
method is awesome because you were able to pick not only my brain, but my partner's brain, and then really understand what ticks for these CPAs. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and when we sent this letter out, two of them basically sat back and was like, Michael, we wouldn't sell it to you, but we got this letter and they believe it was serendipitous or it was fate because they said that letter hit deep down inside. We were able to trigger. It wasn't about the selling price. It wasn't about, the transaction. It was emotionally it hit them. A certain sentence in there which you got from the interview was like, my clients are like my friends and family. So once I retire, the only thing I care about is I find someone who can keep taking care of them when I'm gone. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what made them make the call to us.
So that's terrific because you're really getting to the end of the story here. First, I interviewed you. Not only did I talk to you and your partner April, I also went out to Reddit groups. I remember telling you this, and I was searching for posts from CPAs about their problems, frustrations, their goals, desires. That also was in the letter. The next part was what you just said. We sell it to them in their own words. There was nothing about features and benefits, the money you can make. I mean, we hinted at that, but the main thing we were doing was finding the emotional hot buttons after talking to you in April. I was basically editing the transcript of our conversation. I added the additional language from the Reddit posts because it was very authentic stuff. You and I never would have thought of this in a million years because you're a financial advisor. I'm not. Your business partner, April, is an actual CPA, but she she's so close to the action. She didn't think of talking about these things,
And
but I
she's
was
so
telling
young.
her,
She never thought about selling, right? The CPAs we're targeting, she's in her mid 30s. The people we're talking to are in their 60s and 70s. So
mhm.
yeah, I think definitely that part you were able to extract online, which was not part of the interview,
Yeah,
which is great.
that was in the background. So between that, the third part is sell it to people online and offline. We didn't even need the emails. I was thinking about doing emails for you, some videos, perhaps landing pages. We didn't need it. We had big hits with the first part, which was just a simple letter. It was a 2-page letter. Do you recall? I think we mailed to 300 people at a time.
Less than 300 because we got
Yeah.
some returned. So
Mhm.
Kevin, not only did we not need to do all the online stuff, we're afraid to mail it. My partner's like, don't keep mailing because so basically I think we mailed it 3 times. I mean, you wrote another letter for us, a follow-up. We didn't even use that yet because the first one we mailed it 3 times. And each time we mail it was like $700, it wasn't a lot, print postage,
Mhm.
and we got three. So every, let's say 200 or so letter, we at least got one call. So we are
Mhm.
3 for 3. We literally just closed on our first practice. It's $1 million practice.
Nice.
Um, this past beginning of January, so a couple days ago as we speak. And another one we made a 10% investment in. He's gonna sell it to us next year. Together, that's
Mhm.
a $2 million revenue tax practice. So that's
Mm.
very significant. The third one is a little smaller. The seller is a little harder to work with, but hey, so far we're moving forward.
So without being too specific, I don't want to make you divulge, personal details, but what's the revenue look like for you and your business partner?
So,
Because this is not just
it's very
once a year,
it's
it's
very
for life.
simple, right? CPA practices on the market goes for one times revenue.
Hmm.
So, if it's 1 million, we're paying about 1 million, but we're not really, we're borrowing some of it and we're paying 20% down. The rest we are paying over 5 years, bill and collected. So,
Hmm.
upfront money down is not a lot. Also, there are many ways to monetize it because I do wealth management. I mean, 200 business clients to me, that's a gold mine. I can't tell you how much revenue I can potentially get out of that practice. Also, we found out payroll we can actually outsource to ADP. They will pay us 2 times revenue. So
Wow.
basically, we're paying 1 times revenue for let's say $1 million practice. Let's say their payroll is 200,000. We could carve that out and get 400,000 for it. Basically recoup all our down
Wow.
payment and some.
So bottom line, what's this project been worth to you and your business
Man, I
partner?
don't even know. It's it could be six figure, 7 figure down the road. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. That's every year, correct? I mean, this is kind of an annuity for you.
This is, yeah. I mean, the great thing about CPA practices and most service businesses are these clients are very sticky. So as long as we don't mess up their tax return, I think most likely they will stay with us. And let's say and you have clause in the purchase agreement if you lose a certain amount of client, just the price down. So, it's not a lot of risk.
Excellent. Well, Michael, thanks very much for joining us today. There is a link below where you can get in touch with me to learn more. And again, Michael, thanks for sharing your story. Really
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Kevin.